All it took was 11 days for Donald Trump to backpedal on his calls for common sense gun control. Now, this was immediately after the 2 mass shootings that took place, one in El Paso, Texas, the other in Dayton, Ohio. He claimed that, hey, you know what? Common sense gun control makes sense. But then he took a meeting with the NRA, which the NRA bragged about on Twitter. And here's what he's saying now.
Would you support either of the House bills that were passed earlier this year?
I'm not going to get into that, but we are in very meaningful discussions with the Democrats, and I think the Republicans are very unified. We are very strong on our Second Amendment. The Democrats are not strong at all in the Second Amendment. I would say they're weak on the Second Amendment, and we have to be careful of that. The Democrats would, I think they'd give up the Second Amendment. And the people that a lot of the people that put me where I am are strong believers in the Second Amendment, and I am also. And we have to be very careful about that. You know, they call it the slippery slope, and all of a sudden everything gets taken away. We're not going to let that happen.
Now, we're going to show you a video to compare to what he had said after the mass shootings. But in a pinned tweet on the NRA account, they wrote, quote, "I spoke to the president today. We discussed the best ways to prevent these types of tragedies. Donald Trump is a strong Second Amendment president and supports our right to keep and bear arms." That was from Wayne LaPierre.
Okay, guys, this is really important. We're gonna show you the clip where you're gonna see a clear flip-flop. Donald Trump is too stupid to cover up his crimes, mistakes, his corruption in this case. And he said in that clip that you just watched, "I talked to the people who put me where I am." That's because the NRA gave him $30 million to win the election.
Ding, 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 ding.
And Wayne LaPierre went to him and said, "No, you're not gonna do federal background checks, knucklehead. I own you. And you said the slippery slope was wrong? No, you're gonna go out there and do as I tell you and say you should be really worried about the slippery slope." Now, wait a minute, you just saw with your own eyes, he said he's worried about the slippery slope. So what did he say 11 days ago about that same topic? Let's watch.
The NRA has over the years taken a very, very tough stance on everything, and I understand it. You know, it's a slippery slope. They think you approve one thing and that leads to a lot of bad things. I don't agree with it. I think we can do meaningful, very meaningful background checks. I want to see it happen. So I've got a lot of support, and I also have the support of other people on the other side. And I think the Democrats and Republicans have a chance to really come together.
So he said the slippery slope argument, I don't agree with that. And he said we can do meaningful background checks. 11 days later, hey, listen, it could be a slippery slope. I believe in the slippery slope, and we can't do the federal background checks. After Wayne LaPierre says, I met with him and I own him. And Trump then comes out and goes, I mean, the people who backed me, the people who gave me money, I met with them, so now I'm not gonna do it. That's corruption defined.
Absolutely.
That's the swamp. That's the swamp.
And it goes against what the vast majority of Americans want when it comes to federal background checks. In fact, I'm gonna give you the numbers, not from one poll, not from 2 polls, but from several polls. So if you look at Quinnipiac, 94% of respondents said that they support universal background checks. Washington University poll, 84%. CBS News, 89%. Morning Consult, 86%. Public policy polling, 84%. CBS New York Times poll, 88%. Again, the vast majority of Americans, meaning that even those on the right are in favor of universal background checks. And by the way, it's amazing because that is literally the most weak sauce thing that you can do when it comes to gun control. Right? I mean, it doesn't even go close to solving the giant issue we have with guns in America, but at least it's a start. And it's amazing that the NRA can't even have that.
So a couple of years ago, there was a poll that I often quote. It was at 97%, and so, and by the way, the great majority of gun owners want universal background checks. So wait a minute, if the gun owners agree and the Republican voters agree and everyone agrees, why don't we have it? Because the gun manufacturers do not agree. They fund the NRA, and the NRA funds Donald Trump and the Republican Party. So Trump, like an idiot, comes out and goes, oh, I'm gonna do background checks. I'm gonna do background checks. I'm gonna be it's gonna be meaningful. And I don't believe in this slippery slope. And then they pull him by the ear and they go, hey, you idiot, I bought you. Don't you remember that? He goes, oh yeah, sorry, Wayne. And he comes out like a little, all right, I'll leave out the adjective. It's rare of me to leave it out. But a weakling, a coward.
Sad.
He comes out and goes, sorry, it turns out the slippery slope is true and I'm not gonna do background checks. Wayne yelled at me. Pathetic. That's your strong guy? That's your strong leader? Oh, he's strong when he's backing neo-Nazis and saying they're very fine people on that side, right? He's strong when he's attacking Antifa and said, I'm gonna call him a terror organization and arrest people on the left wing. When he's attacking Latinos and that cross the border without $1 in their pocket, without any money, without any power. When he attacks Muslim immigrants without any power, he seems strong because he's a bully. But the minute somebody comes in and goes, hey, Donald, remember who owns you? He goes, yes, sir, yes, sir. Sniveling little coward, Donald Trump. Why don't you go crawl back onto Wayne LaPierre's lap and ask him what else you should do?
So let's talk a little bit more about gun legislation that the majority of Americans are actually in favor of. Again, Republicans are included in this equation. When it comes to red flag laws, overall 77% of Americans surveyed support family-initiated extreme risk protection orders, otherwise known as red flag laws, and 70% support them when initiated by law enforcement, according to this survey, which was conducted before the recent Texas and Ohio shootings. By the way, again, that was conducted before those 2 mass shootings happened in one weekend.
After the shootings, Trump said he would do the red flag laws. Right now, no red flag laws, nobody's pushing for it, it's done. After the next massacre, Trump will say, as he's done before, he's done it twice already. Oh, I'm gonna get tough with the NRA. Oh, I'm gonna do background checks. I'm gonna do red flags. And then what does he do? The only thing he did after Parkland was he put more guns into schools so the NRA and then weapons manufacturers could sell more guns rather than less guns. Owned through and through, the most corrupt president we've ever had, easily. And he's so stupid that he admits it on national TV. Well, I talked to the people who backed me and they say, I can't do it. Loser, weakling, coward. Like what you see? Click the subscribe button below and don't forget to ring the bell to never miss another video from the Young Turks.